How's it going, ladies and Bruces? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to Sound of Drop. It's time to wrap this one up with the fourth ending. This is it. Alright. I don't care how long it takes for this episode. We're getting there. It doesn't seem like there are any frogs. As soon as I enter, I take a look around. There's no sign of the ghastly sight of melted frogs. Still, an air as if something bizarre and grave as afoot enters my mouth, causing my tongue to curl. I place my hand on my chest and strengthen my vigilance. This is a bloodstain. It's hard to see in the dark, but the deep red blood is spread out here and there across the floor. It goes all the way to the counter like a path. Something's here. That alone I can be sure of. From within the dark, something may jump out at me. As I take a step, I look around, left and right, using such great caution, one might call it excessive. Clack, clack, clack. The echoing of my own footsteps provides me some relief. On closer inspection, the blood circumvents the counter and continues around the back. As I follow it, I notice something in the garbage can by the counter. This is... One name tag has been thrown away. It catches my eye because it looks like Kenji-san's. The cover for it is worn down and dirty. He had his on when he left the souvenir shop, so it's not like he threw his away. But contrary to my expectations, the name Hiyoshi Kenji is on it. Having my doubts, I flip it over and immediately drop it. On the back of the name tag, written in big red letters with magic marker. Murderer. The letters themselves are like a curse. I don't understand at all what it means. But I don't have any desire to take a closer look and find out. Having probably thrown it away when he was here earlier, I satisfy myself with the thought that it's just a prank. Following the bloodstain takes precedence. Remaining cautious, I peek behind the counter. There's nothing here. Huh? I suddenly hear someone's voice. I shout without thinking. There's no one below the counter. Just two boxes left there. There's no one behind me, nor next to me. Could it be above? As I consider this and look up at the ceiling, the only thing there is the sprinkler. Appearing as if it hadn't been used in some time, it seems this place is in a different phase than it was before. But more importantly than that is the voice's owner. Without thinking, I narrow my eyes and look all around. Hey, don't make a sound. Huh? Big sister. Big sister. Huh? That voice? Marty? The cardboard box at my feet skitters about. We have to be sure. What do we do if he's with her? That voice. Is it that girl? By him, do you mean that Kenji-san who was here before? It's fine, I'm here alone. Yeah. Wait, it might be a trap. As if the girl's voice didn't even reach Marty, she topples the large cardboard box over. Marty immediately jumps out and clamps onto my leg. Marty? Big sister! I embrace Marty's tiny shoulders in return. Marty, why are you here? How? We can see each other. Is that really you? Hey! He just went 2D. Saying this, Marty twirls around once. That innocent behaviour, there's no mistaking that it's her. Huh. I'm finally able to trust the girl before my eyes as Marty. I'm surprised. It's the first time I've truly understood how people who are shocked are left speechless. I'm able to see Marty. I hug her again to confirm that it's actually true. I'm able to actually feel Marty's body on the other side of that bulky fabric with my own flesh. Marty, were you really that small? Big sister, you got so big you didn't seem like yourself. Marty rubs her plump cheek against me. The difference in our height, after 5 years, is clear. Even though I was younger, I was a bit bigger, right? Hey, that's not true. We were the same height. I'm older, so even us being the same height is nothing to boast about, but the stubbornness itself is vital to my memories. I hug Marty again, clenching even my fingers tight around her. And then I realise it. Sorry, I know you're having a touching reunion, but... The girl was inside one of the boxes, despite how difficult it was to get in, and seems to be struggling to get out now. Finally, she breaks out of the box by tearing it open, and not the least bit bothered by it, she speaks in a cold tone. The blood spattered here and there appears to be hers. It seems to have stopped now, but surely it's from the wound on her forehead having opened. That girl, she's already dead. It's something I'd already realised. That's because I couldn't feel Marty's body heat. That girl had put it into words, as if it were no big deal. I'd prepared myself and my heart, but I'd actually been able to embrace Marty. That difference causes my chest to tighten. Big sister, I'm sorry. That's not something to apologise for, Marty. Marty looks at me with an anxious expression on her face. I rub Marty's head. Her hair is silky, A fact that doesn't change whether she's alive or dead. Sayo-chan, can I tell my big sister about it? Sayo-chan? Is that this girl's name? Yep, she told me. That's right, though Mayumi, please drop the charm. Sayo, is it? Okay, nice to meet you. There's nothing nice about it. What a cold response. Sayo-chan, are you a friend of my big sister? Not particularly. Do you not like her then? I don't particularly dislike her. Mayumi, what's so funny? Their exchange is so funny I start snickering. Because it's funny to see Sayo wavering at Marty's barrage of questions. So Marty, what was it you wanted to tell me? Well... Marty glances in Sayo's direction. Sayo tilts her head silently. Wait a second, Mayumi, why are you here? Why, you ask? Didn't you take that man's advice and leave me behind? I didn't see it as you abandoning me, and felt your actions were correct. But I do want you to tell me your reasoning. You heard all that? At that time I couldn't move at all, not even my lips, but I was conscious. The Red Manten Aquarium, what a dumb name. Anyway, that was the only part of the conversation I caught. There's nothing to hide from you then. Somewhere inside I feel relieved. My guilt at having left Sayo comes back, making me fully aware of its presence. But she said what I did was right. I don't think Sayo's the type who would lie about that. The decision I made at the moment was definitely not wrong. I explained those feelings between Himeno and I that without worry over whether they were right or not brought me back here. So stupid. You should have just left me alone. It was my decision. I can't let things be anymore. No gratitude or apology. I don't see it as us having grown closer, but Sayo has accepted me just a little bit more. Unlike when I'm with Kenji-san. When I'm with Himeno, it's the first time I've truly appreciated this feeling of relief. Now it's my turn. Sayo? Why are you with Marty? That story's a long one. Where should I start? First of all, how about telling me about when Saginu Mareika tried to kill you? You heard that from that guy already. She's a criminal who killed my papa. She's already dead, a spirit out for vengeance. She's merely a shadow, only able to exist within Manten Aquarium. When I point that out to her, she suddenly attacks me. She probably doesn't want to acknowledge that she's dead. She's looking for Marty. So she was looking for Marty after all, but why? If she's already dead, why is she... Her feelings have gotten really big, like a balloon. She can only think about one thing. So much so that she's forgotten everything else. The one who answers my question is Marty. Marty, likely unable to stay silent any longer, gets between Sayo and I, and speaks, while spreading both her arms out wide. I also heard that, in other words, she has lingering attachments from when she was alive. Vengeful spirits and other ghosts usually do. I don't believe in such things, so it's just theoretical. Sayo says this while leaning against the counter. I can see she's settled in for a long conversation. I've always wanted to see you, big sister. This whole time, that's what I've wanted. That's why you called out to me over and over again. But I wasn't feeling like myself. With no body, I was just fuzzy. I couldn't even come see you. Fuzzy? Right, fuzzy. I think I'm missing something fundamental in what Marty's trying to say. I wonder if Sayo's even listening, but when I look her way, her eyes are closed. She's your little sister, Mayumi. So you get what she's saying, right? You say that, but you don't get it either, do you? When I give her a hard time, Sayo suddenly puffs up her cheeks. And soon after, she clicks her tongue with a tch and looks away. Even if she wanted to tell me, she didn't get it after all. She can't. Well then, how do you feel right now? Now? Normal? Normal. Anyway, let's set that subject aside. But you know, I remembered a lot of stuff after I met Sayo-chan. Maybe it was before. Until now, all I could think about was seeing you. But I did remember something important. Marty looks a little saddened. I still don't understand the reason why. Is that what you wanted to tell me earlier? Yeah, Sayo-chan. I can tell my big sister, right? She's not an enemy, right? It should be fine. She's just too soft is all. So, what are you filling Marty's head with? Sayo gives me no response. I look back at Marty and wait for her to continue. You see, Marty takes in a small breath. I saw a man get hit until he couldn't move. That scary man. He did that with the scary lady. Marty quietly tells me the truth. That way of telling the story is unmistakably fitting for Marty. That was probably when the director, my papa, was killed. I understood that, however Sayo readily reiterates it. The woman was the criminal. In other words, Saginu Mareika, right? Then that man was a scary man who came after me. Who do you mean? You should already know. That's why I had to be sure earlier, Mayumi. Kenji-san would never do such a thing. Marty, you must be mistaken. Big sister, I'm not. I may be more grown up than when I saw it, but that man keeps coming after me. That's because of the curse. He has to come back here at regular intervals. It lines up with what the diary said, so it's probably true, but that's not all. He came here with many different ladies and then did something scary. All of them screamed. What does that mean? With a frightened look on her face, Marty shakes her head. Even though it's a scene she witnessed herself, Marty doesn't seem to understand the meaning behind it. It's that life energy he was talking about. If the number of people possessed by this place decreases, then don't you think the mere existence of the red Manten Aquarium is using that energy up? That's why I'm asking what it means. I yell suddenly. I've become aware of the fact that through all the things that have happened here, my own perception has gotten sharper. Talking to Marty and Sayo is causing connections to be formed in my mind, allowing me to guess some things. I'm sure I yelled because I'm trying to deny the thoughts floating about in my own mind. However, Sayo is not so gentle. They need lives or something like that. Essentially, he's bringing people here and killing them. Even if he doesn't kill them, he could probably at least steal their life energy. Don't you remember that rumor about the number of people missing people increasing? Kenji-san said something similar, but Himeno knew that rumor as well. People were saying rumors like that around me as well. If you want to spread a rumor, you gather as many idiots as possible to do it. He knew that. Let's come out and say it. I've been trying to say it the whole time. Sayo heaves a sigh and continues. Treating the rumors like bait that Manten Aquarium scatters for its prey is kind of ironic. The one spreading these rumors is that man. To prove it, I let him pick me up. It was creepy. Kenji-san, I thought him hitting on girls was normal. Him spreading rumors is a completely different thing. I came here to look into some things and found someone who had escaped. She doesn't seem like she'll ever wake up, and it's probably because of having her energy exhausted. Before she came to the aquarium, some man called out to her. I have no doubts it was him. If he's Saginuma Reiko's accomplice, then it's not odd for him to help preserve the Red Manten Aquarium. Even if we refer to them as the worst of humanity, they probably don't want to disappear. Even now, they're probably still working together. But Kenji-san's alive. Geez, I'm not done with my story yet. Marty spreads both arms and starts bouncing up and down. Marty, yeah, sorry, I lost my cool for a bit. Speaking of which, I haven't heard this yet either. After I saw the man fall over, I was chased by that scary lady. It wasn't anything like a game of tag. I climbed this ladder and hid inside a giant tank. In the top part of the tunnel, right? The lady glared at me. I was so scared, but I tried to get her to leave me alone by running away. That's when the man showed up. Kenji-san did. He was really, really scary. First he got rid of the lady, then he turned something that looked like a handle and the water started pouring in. But from there I don't remember anything. It all gets kind of fuzzy. Before Marty can finish, I break in. So then that means Kenji-san, Marty, he killed her along with Saginuma Reiko. I think we can all agree that he was the only one still living. No, it's all a lie. It's gotta be. Hey Marty, did you maybe mistake what you saw? Sorry, big sister, I said something awful, didn't I? Marty looks at me with large eyes. I'm sure she doesn't completely understand the horrific misfortune that befell her body. That's why she's been able to maintain her pure heart. I'm a terrible big sister. Of course Marty's the one I should believe over anyone else. I just can't believe Kenji-san would do something like that. Sorry, but I'm also a bit confused. He's definitely the accomplice to the one who killed my papa, Saginuma Reiko. So then why would he kill her? Moreover, I can't grasp the reason they would work together now. Sayo, you also saw the two of them together. That's why I'm saying this. Seeing those two were after Marty, she and I ended up together like this, but also, when you mean you saw them as well, Mayumi. I saw Kenji-san meet up with Saginuma Reiko in the staff passageway after he came out of the souvenir shop. If you saw it too, then why don't you believe us? Because Kenji-san saved you, me, and Himeno as well. Jeez, I don't get you. I don't get you either. Jeez, don't fight. It's Marty's words that stop the heated quarrel between us. We both look at Marty. She's puffing up her cheeks and her face is red. Looking at her face, even more strength leaves my body. Being so close to her, I'd forgotten that Marty is already dead. She's aware of her own death. At this point, the futility of it all makes it hard for me to stay standing. I'm sorry, Marty, I really am. I don't really get it, but I forgive you. I don't want to ever fight with you again, big sister. I've sunk to the ground and Marty begins proudly rubbing my head. Her hand has no heat, but I can feel a slight warmth. So you put some distance between us, standing a little ways away. Having reached a conclusion, I think the only thing left is to see what lies on the other side. But it seems I haven't reached the truth itself just yet. I also want to know the truth. We have to find it, no matter what. Big sister, do you feel better? Sayo-chan, are you okay too? We both nod. As I stand up, Sayo and I look at one another. Speaking of which, Sayo, you dropped this. Thanks to our eyes meeting, I'm reminded of the keychain tucked into my pocket. After taking the keychain from me, Sayo looks at the back. She sees the sticker photo of two people. She says a brief thanks, looks up and continues. I'm gonna see my papa. To be more accurate, it's probably his spirit. Papa is likely related to the creation of this closed-off world. I'm sure the truth lies there. I suppose there's no need to ask the two of you at this point. Right. Right, Sayo-chan. I wonder what your father is like. Our father. That was a slight change. Sayo is no longer alone. It may have been Marty who brought about this change. No matter what truth lies ahead of us, I get the feeling that if we don't forget what it is we believe in, we'll be alright. Alright, here we go. I mean, we're going to go to the director's office now. Is that the next spot? Talking with Sayo, we decided to take the route to the director's office that passes through the tunnel tank, the Fish of the World booth, and the back staff passageway. The small aquarium supposedly has a magnificent director's office, supposedly to reflect Sayo's father's preferences. Expensive, foreign-made furniture is situated around the room. It seems that when the deep-sea fish booth was opened, one could see through the tank and watch the deep-sea fish from the director's office. I'm a little excited that I'll get to see such a magnificent room. Wow, pretty. It's pretty, but why is it so calm? Probably because they're among companions. The tank part of the tunnel tank no longer has any meaning. As if all the air is filled with water and the fish are swimming all about. Like the bizarre incident I witnessed with Kenji-san with the cutlass fish, I'm left completely confused. Yep, there. Marty gently pats a ray that passes beside her. A group of sardines pass over our heads, casting shadows that look like bullets, and Marty follows them with her eyes until they pass. The flatfish that passes by my legs is a right-eye flounder? It's a large tooth flounder. On the left is a large tooth flounder, on the right is a right-eye flounder. Mayumi, you thought they were the same, didn't you? That's not true. The large tooth flounder is so crisp and crunchy, it's delicious as sashimi. The right-eye flounder is more soft and flaky, it's better boiled in soy sauce. I know the difference. Big sister, you're such a glutton. Even you, Marty? Geez, I say, and puff up my cheeks. At any rate, being able to actually enjoy the aquarium like this is refreshing. We're enjoying it, but the feeling is different. If nothing scary happens, this unreality isn't bad. Straight ahead of where I'm walking and spacing out, the nose of a large shadow brushes past me. I fall on my backside in surprise. Geez, don't get so scared. It's because you get scared that they all react. Yeah, I'm alright, I wasn't scared, just surprised. Is that a sunfish just now? Large fish with the shape of a shuriken is an ocean sunfish. My feeling on being so close, its nose could brush against me, was that it was honestly grotesque. With its hollow face and its sleek to the touch skin, it's like the face of an alien swimming about. It's because you're scared that they react. They react to our negative emotions. Just because these creatures are here, there's no indication that they'll attack. Right now, I think that they're enjoying it a little. I don't really get it, but because I get along with them, they might not attack us. Even back when you came with me to the souvenir stand, no matter how many doors we passed through, nothing happened. Maybe you're special, Marty. Marty, you're amazing. Marty proudly folds her arms. On the other side of the tragic fact that the fish, like Marty, are no longer living, there's the optimistic fact that they're not alone either. Manten Aquarium, when it's not experiencing phenomena, is smaller than I expected. We probably walked about 15 minutes. This is the director's office? Sayo nods, her lips pressed together. The door is solemn, bringing about an odd atmosphere. It's something of a mismatch with the tranquil aquarium, leaving a heavy impression. I'm a little scared, big sister. We took a look around, but Papa was nowhere to be found. So he must be here. This was his favourite place. Is there any chance that he's gone crazy? That he might have been taken by his own hatred or malice? There is, but Mayumi, you went back to someone who lost it before, right? There's no reason I can't either. In other words, you're prepared for whatever may happen. Yes, I have been from the start. Taking the lead, Sayo places her hand on the door. No, why? After entering the director's office, that's the first thing Sayo says. Just as Sayo told us, the director's office has expensive antique furniture, and one of the walls is a tank. The director's chair looks soft and comfortable to sit in. Why is he sitting there like normal? The director is sitting there calmly. Sayo-chan, I think something's different. A pale blue light is flowing out from the tank. Look inside from the entrance. The form of the director sitting there has the transparency of a projection on a screen, wavering about. Let's have a little look. Sayo, who was trying to make her way forward, stops, her shoulders shuddering. Seeing her father, who had passed away right before her eyes, it's natural that she wouldn't want to get closer. I understand such a feeling well, but I also understand that we can't lose our cool either. I stand the furthest forward of the three of us, my focus on the director's desk. It's the director, Sakuragi Isao. There's no mistake, that's my papa. We're getting there. Director. On the screen of light, one more character appears. Sagi no Muraiko. But this is like a video or something? Here she appears a little younger. Even without glancing our way, she faces the comfortably seated director. Sagi no Muraiko has a frantic look on her face and places her hands on the desk. The director wipes away the spot where Sagi no Muraiko had placed her hands on the antique desk. She glares at the director for just a second before calming her expression. Why did you reject my plan? The greatest number of visitors to Manten East Building comes from women in their teens and 20s. There are also many couples. If we partner with other tenants or offer paired tickets, as well as attach ourselves to the image of a fashionable nightlife, we can expect a set minimum number of customers. We could also partner with magazines for coverage. Other aquariums aren't being touted as date spots yet. If we follow this course, it could be extremely advantageous to all involved. It goes without saying, an aquarium isn't some flashy attraction. Our purpose through and through is to display living things. Having foolish young people point and laugh, where is the respect for living things in that? In that case, shouldn't we convey to young people the splendour of marine life and teach them how precious it is, as well as the smallness of humanity? Then what about this application? Saying nothing to me, throwing several million yen to the addition for the stage. Children would love that. The number of visitors would temporarily increase, but does it serve any other purpose? You employ animal trainers to train them from scratch. We don't have the know-how for this. Moreover, given the scope of Manten Aquarium, how great of a show do you think we can offer? A show on a stage won't win against our competition. Let's make that clear. If people get bored soon after, all we're left with is a balance in the red. It won't end up that way if the staff as a whole works together for that end. Director, you understand nothing. What we need is a new measure that will yield faster results. As management, you at least need to grasp the gravity of the issue, right? And all your plan concerns itself with is profit in the immediate future. It is not money that keeps us going. It is living things. If we forget our feelings of respect for them, Manten Aquarium has no future. If we're shut down, many of them will be killed. Money absolutely supports Manten Aquarium, us, and the living things. Why can't you see that? It seems our ideas are fundamentally mismatched. Even so, I'm not merely thinking of profits in the immediate future. Couples nowadays will likely be married in the future. If they continue to enjoy Manten Aquarium, then 10 years from now they may bring their own children to Manten Aquarium. A result in 1 year is better than waiting 10 years for one, is it not? That's not what I'm trying to say. Rather than focusing on couples and the like, shouldn't you worry about getting married yourself? You're already 27, right? Normally one would be well on their way to having children at that age, wouldn't they? If you have nothing to say back, then you lack any persuasive ability. If you have time to think up nonsense plans, then you have time to think of ways that the plan I'm pushing for can generate profit. The two forms waver and disappear. Nothing remains but the light leaking from the tanks as I replay the conversation in my mind. My image of the director has completely changed. But he could have never said something like that in front of Sayo. Even Marty looks as if she had something she wanted to say, but she just bites her lower lip and holds it in. Horrible. Papa, you're the worst. Sayo was the first to put her feelings into words. I guess I should have said something after all. His way of thinking was completely wrong. Still, there was no reason to kill... Big sister, it's not over yet, Marty says, breaking through my words, and points towards the desk. An image once again appears in the light. Similar to before, it's those two again. The director seems to have more grey in his hair this time around. Director, please take a look at this. What is this? I finalised the proposed budget for plans to alter the jellyfish booth. This is so we can change it to be more cognizant of the lighting, keeping true to the creation of a universe befitting the name Manten. Ibaraki's aquarium is saying that they're making their own alterations and plan to decrease the number of jellyfish, so we should cheaply inherit those jellyfish. The architects have requested it's popular as the artist who designed the monument in front of Manten Station, using connections through an acquaintance of mine. I plan to make use of him at a discount. As a prerequisite, I would like your word that if this plan succeeds, we can continue to request alterations to Manten Aquarium. I anticipate better synergy than I saw with the plan of mine you rejected 2 years ago. Although it's just fine if you don't think about it at all, just giving a stamp of approval is also more than enough. This Saginuma Reiko's tone of voice is different from the previous ones. In those 2 years since she spoke to him, something must have happened to increase her confidence. What nonsense. It's precisely because I've guided us towards appealing to children that our customer base has increased in the last 2 years. Bringing your plan back to play now would only put us in the red once more. So what? You just want to treat the living creatures we obtained like cheap objects? The money we lost on the addition to the stage was recouped by my plan to collaborate with talent agencies. Do not forget that. The one who decided to make an addition to the stage was me. It was due to my intuition that we experienced success. Do I need to repeat myself? Your plan is rejected. From here on, we focus on additions to the deep sea fish booth. Even if you reject it, all of the other employees are in agreement. Under the circumstances, even if you don't approve it, my stamp would be more than enough. In order for you to save face, Director Sakuragi, I humbly request your approval. How conceited. I've always thought you were too brazen, ever since you came here on an internship in graduate school. You had no real business management experience, yet you somehow find nothing but fault with Manten Aquarium, to say nothing of the fact that you decide to present it all to me in the form of a report. You have a point about my position as a graduate student at the time, but should I not tell you when it's relevant? Even if you had been an employee, the proper procedure is to address these things one by one, with management. I'm at my limits with you. Listen, Manten Aquarium is my aquarium. Commit that to memory. My, didn't you say something about paying respect to living creatures? You seem to be contradicting yourself. I'm not making any sort of contradiction. It's because of your impudence that you can't seem to marry. Without even reading it, the director tears up the plan in his hands and throws it away. At any rate, I will reject that plan every time you bring it to me. Do you have anything else you need to say to me? No matter what the director says to Saginuma Reiko, she boldly smiles back, possibly because she's trying not to show the fear she feels inside. Marty grabs onto my fingers. In contrast, Sayo silently watches the replay shown in the light without looking away. That's right, Director. It seems you've been taking the train to work lately. Yes, that's right, the company car is in for repairs. My, how unfortunate. There are some who speak badly of you, saying that you used funds to buy that car, but it seems to have quietened down. Just as you might have hoped. Did you come here to expel sarcasm? I've received approval from accounting before making that purchase. There's nothing to blame me for. Indeed, we mustn't forget to get the approval of our management and accounting. And you have a child, so you have the need of a car. It's enough. If you have time for such idle chatter, you have time to bring me a plan I can actually agree to. Yes, about half a month ago I was on my way home from work, walking down the street at night, when I was almost hit by a car. That late night, they were likely pressing their luck by speeding. Luckily I was able to avoid them, and they lightly hit a telephone pole, but it was just barely. With there being no people out so late, it could have been bad if I were involved in a hit and run. Yes. It was dark, so I couldn't see the license plate number, but I knew the model of the car. It was, yes, a foreign sports car. That's because it's a fast car. There are probably a lot of idiots who drive fast late at night. I believe that was about half a month ago when you started taking the train, wasn't it, Director? You mean to say that I did it? Don't be absurd, I was merely seeing if you had any thoughts, Director. I wouldn't dare bear such doubts in my heart. Get out now. My pleasure, Director Sakuragi. You should also be careful on the streets at night. Nice vague threat there, like it.